Hey guys, what's going on? Hope everybody's well out there today. Thanks for tuning back in. And I've been doing a lot of tips and talks and everything in seminars the last week or so from the tackle room here. Because like I said, if you guys have followed what's been going on, you know my dad's been in the hospital for a week and I haven't had any time to spare just to do these videos when I can in the tackle room. So I haven't had a chance to be to the lake to do much stuff. But hopefully when he gets to doing a little bit better, I'll start to get back to the lake and do some videos. But today I got another really good tip for you guys. I'm going to share with you guys some of my long held secrets on fishing the walking topwaters like the Spooks that I learned from the old time experts like old Ozark legends like Charlie Campbell, Shorty Evans, and stuff that I've learned on my own over the years. I'm going to share a bunch of secrets with you guys that I think is going to really help out, because the summertime is actually my favorite time to fish a walking topwater, and I'll go into that a little bit. But anyway, just some quick housekeeping tips here to keep the lights on. Just wanted to remind everybody to check out fishthemoment.com. We got all of our summer lake map breakdowns, there to be checked out. We're doing personal lake map breakdowns. Got a full catalog of it. You can check that out at fishthemoment.com. And keep an eye out for our upcoming virtual seminars, because Johnny and I are going to be doing those as well. And check out Fish the Moment, the videos we've been doing. Johnny and I did a great one last week at Table Rock Lake on the Mag Draft swim baits. You can check that out. My own deal here on my own channel. Just a quick reminder, if you guys are interested in any of the stuff I'm talking about, I've included the Baitworks link, Intuitive Angling Baitworks link. If you guys like to order off that, the channel gets a small percentage of those sales, which helps keep the lights on around here a little bit better, and much appreciated with that. So, okay, anyways, I'm going to give you guys a detailed seminar talk on walking topwaters. These things have been around forever. I think the Spook initially, when it was made out of wood back, I think it was like in the 50s when that thing came out. And it never, gained a lot of fame really up until the 70s. And really the person that made the Spook famous was Charlie Campbell. I think a lot of people, if you guys don't know who Charlie Campbell is, you haven't been fishing very long. Charlie's an Ozarks legend. He's been with Bass Pro Shops, real good friends with Johnny Morse forever. And Charlie sort of was known as the Spook expert. And I think he won the Bass Federation tournament at Table Rock Lake back in 1974 on a spook. And he was sort of known as the Spook expert for years, along with another Ozark guy named Shorty Evans. I had a chance to talk to Charlie and Shorty, years ago. I'm talking like, 35 plus, almost 40 years ago, about spook fishing. And the two things that I learned from them that has helped me out a lot, and then what I've developed a lot of my own that I'm going to share with you guys too. But I remember the two things that they told me, Charlie told me, it's like, Randy, if you can't catch this fish on a spook in the rain, it's time to hang your rod up. And that, even though that's a simple statement, that says a lot. That says a lot about when the Spook and the walking topwaters are at their best. And then Shorty showed me a technique of throwing the Spook out there as far as I could and just reeling it across the surface as fast as you could for like 15 or 20 feet and then killing it. And it would bring those big fish out of that deep, clear water in the summertime, and I've used that really effectively. So the combination of those two, even though those are simple things that about the bait, it tells you a lot about how fish react to a spook. And I'll go over it a little bit and show you guys what I know about it. This is something that's taken a long time. Okay, first of all, let me go into my two favorite ones. My two favorite ones are the Super Spook. This is the big head and Super Spook, and then the Megabass Diamante. And I'm going to show you guys the difference in here, why I like these two in combination. The regular Spook is outstanding. It's just a little bit smaller than this. The reason I like the Super Spook, it's got 3 hooks on it. The regular Spook just has 2 hooks on it. Most of them do, the old ones do. So you got 3 hooks, which hook the fish a lot better. And then it's just a bigger bait, so it attracts bigger fish. And it just displaces more water in the water. The Super Spook has a super wide swath on the thing. You can make it as wide as you want, back and forth. It's really wide. It's just an excellent topwater lure. And the Diamante, the Megabass Diamante, is a little bit different because this bait has a lot tighter walk on it. You can work, and I like this when like I need to work the bait a little bit fast. The Super Spook, I can keep it in one spot, work it slow as I want to. But this thing, the Diamante, since it has a tight wobble on it or a tight swath on it, I use this when, you know, the fish are really aggressive and they want a faster presentation. So anyway, here's some tips, guys, on the Spook I'm going to give you guys overall that'll really help you out a bit, and this in no particular order. First of all, a lot of it's really important to get the right rod and line setup with this, because in order for you to maximize the efficiency of these baits, and at some point I'm going to do some videos on showing you guys how to work them, but like I said, I'm doing the best I can out of the tackle room here for now. But the equipment setup is really key on that. The key length for me on any type of a walking topwater is a rod that's like 6 feet 10 inches long. I don't like 6.5. It's a little bit too short because you sacrifice casting distance and the ability to take up slack on a hook set. And I don't like a 7-foot rod because a 7-foot rod will wear you out as far as if you fish it all day long, especially if you're fishing the Diamante when you're fishing a little bit faster. So I found out that some type of a medium action rod under 7 feet long is going to be really good choice for that. The one I use is the Megabass Orochi Jerkbait Special. It's got a medium tip on it, throws the bait a long way, short enough where I can really get a lot of good action on it. Yet if a fish hits me out at the end of the cast, I can, you know, really take up a lot of slack with it because it is closer to 7 feet. So from that standpoint, the rod is real critical. Another thing about the reel, you want to, you know, some type of a higher speed reel. I use 7-to-1s. I'm going to do a show on gear ratios a little bit, but I use a 7-to-1 with the medium action jerkbait special for my rod setup. So line on that is a lot of guys, you see guys using braided line for their Spook. I do not like braided line for any type of a walking topwater. A lot of guys go to that simply because, you know, there's no stretch in it and they can take the slack out real quick on a long set. The three things I don't like about braided line is the fact that when you're using braided line, the braided line will catch this front hook a lot. So you get this front hook tangled up in braided line a bunch. Second with that is a lot of times I'm fishing this bait in clear water, and if I'm fishing it slow, like I fish the Super Spook a lot, I just think they can see it. I mean, even if you got black braid, I think the fish, if you're fishing this thing slow and stopping it a lot like I do, I think those fish can see that line floating on the surface. I think it takes away from your strikes. And third, I think that you can take the fish away from the bait simply because there's no stretch in the line. The line I use for it is just straight mono. And most of the time, the pound test that I'm using is dependent upon the type of water I'm fishing. If I'm fishing places where I need to make super long casts with it, like bombing it out over super gin clear flats for smallmouth up north, or fishing it over clear water points, where I'm having to make a maximum length on cast, I'm using 12 to 15 pound test mono in that situation. If I'm fishing it around cover, say for example, and I like to fish this Spook a lot, you know, walking topwaters around docks and, you know, some, you know, riprap banks and stuff like that have a little bit, you know, target oriented. If I'm doing that, I'm using on 20 pound test mono. You can get away with that. So the line test and the rod that you're using is really key to get the maximum efficiency out of it. Also, let's talk a little bit about how you work the baits. Most people, when they're working a walking topwater lure, they just tend to just boom, 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 just walk it back and forth to the boat. I have very seldom do that. Most of the time when I'm fishing this bait, if I'm fishing it over open water and clear water, I use Shorty's technique as far as reeling it real fast across the surface and then stopping it. But the way that I like to fish a Spook is I like to work it maybe 4 or 5 feet fairly quick and then stop it. And then slow it down a little bit for 2 or 3 feet and stop it. And then speed it up a couple times for 2 or 3 feet. Just like a jerk bait, I do not want a uniform cadence on a walking topwater. I'm always looking to vary the cadence under most conditions, especially if that water temperature is, like, say, over 70 degrees. Another thing about that is the species that you're fishing for. If you're fishing a lake that has a lot of smallmouth bass in it, I like to speed it up. Smallmouth like speed on this bait. That's why I really like the Diamante for smallmouth. Anytime I'm fishing clearwater smallmouth up north, it's just a killer because the smallmouth will react a lot better to speed on a walking topwater. If I'm fishing for smallmouth in clearwater, I'm not stopping it much. I'm not hesitating it much. I'm keeping the bait moving fairly quick through the water, and I'm trying to vary the speed on it a little bit, but overall my pace is really quick. And how I judge the speed of the bait and the cadence, it has to do with a combination of water temperature and water clarity. Just like with jerkbait fishing, the colder the water, most of the time, the slower that you want to work that bait. And also, the dirtier the water, the more off color the water is, the slower that you want to work the bait. Because this bait, any type of a walking bait, it's a combination between a sound and a sight bite. It will attract bass simply because of the noise that it makes. As far as, I mean, you can get some with rattles in it, but just the sloshing and the hooks beating against the bait and how much water it moves will attract fish that they don't have to see it. But if you're fishing in super clear water, you know, I love fishing a spook and water visibility that's over 15 feet. You know, it's a sight bait. And so a lot of it has to do, like anything else with jerk baits, it's a combination of water clarity and water temperature and the water depth that you're fishing. A lot of times you have to experiment. Colors are another big key on this thing. I think a lot of people, same with jerk baits, they get locked into a handful of favorite colors that they have, and they tend to oversimplify colors. One of the things I found out about a walking topwater is they're very color sensitive for the most part, and it has a lot to do with the light intensity and the water clarity both. I've never seen a bait like a walking topwater that is so color sensitive and changes with different type of light intensities. Because if you have a bright morning, you know, where it's sunny out, you know, they may want a lighter translucent color. If the clouds roll in and you don't have much wind, they may want a dark one, like a black one. Sometimes they like the bone colored a little bit, you know, under certain conditions. And you don't really know what they want. That's the thing about it. It's like you don't know. I have never seen a bait like a walking topwater where I can't just say they're going to bite this one because here's the conditions. When I'm on a walking topwater bite, I've usually got 4 or 5 different colors out, and I switch up during the course of the day, you know, to see which one they're biting the best, like that, because it has a lot to do with it. But for the most part, you're going to notice changes throughout the course of the day with the cloud cover that moves in. And the cloud cover to me is even more important than the water clarity. First of all, I don't fish a walking topwater hardly any if the water visibility is under 2 feet. My ideal water visibility for a walking topwater is over 3 feet visibility, and really over 4 foot visibility is my ideal situation for it. So the water clarity to me does not play a bigger role as the sky conditions. So that's one thing that you have to sort of figure out with that. But it's there, even though the bait it's pretty user friendly, once you get a feel for it and know how to work the thing and know how to get the rhythm right, and you feel out, you know, what you can actually do with this thing. I mean, one of the things Charlie always taught me on the thing is you can get the spook to keep going one direction like that. It's just like by making like a half jerk one way and then a harder jerk another time, you can actually, instead of this bait just going like this straight through the water, you can actually like walk it around a stump almost. That's one of the things Charlie could do that he's good at. He could like walk it around the edge of a dock. So there's a lot that you can do with lure manipulation on this. It's just a matter of practice. But to me, it's a combination of the whole system together. The right rod setup, the right line, the right cadence, the right retrieve, the right color, the right casting distance, fishing it around the right type of cover. But to me, this is the time of year I like to fish it. It's an excellent bait early and late in the day in the summertime, anytime you have low light conditions. And one of the big tips I'll give you guys right now with the walking topwater is if you have a lake that has over 4 foot of visibility and you have a calm day that's just got maybe a barely ripple of water, just barely a ripple coming across the surface, and you've got super clear water, like I said, over 4 foot visibility, they will hammer this thing in the middle of the hottest days of the summer, especially if you have a lake that has a mixed species of largemouth spotted bass and smallmouth. So anyway, guys, that's just a few of my tips and secrets I wanted to share with you guys on the walking topwaters here. One of my favorite lure categories. I just love fishing them. Probably not a more exciting strike out there that there is. So hope that helps you guys catch a few more fish. And again, hope you guys liked the video. If you liked it, please subscribe. If you haven't, hit that like button. And we'll be back soon with another one. See y'all.